All right, let's dive right into this explainer. The 5 a.m. Club: routine, discipline, and productivity. Today we're unpacking Robin Sharma's foundational engine for achieving elite level results. If you feel like your days are constantly running you rather than the other way around, well, you're in the exact right place. We're going to break down exactly how top performers use raw discipline to engineer their mornings and guarantee success before the rest of the world is even awake. So, what actually separates elite performers from the rest of the pack? It's super tempting to assume that top-tier athletes, industry-leading CEOs, or prolifically successful creators just have some wild genetic advantage, right? Or maybe an endless magical well of motivation. But the reality is far more grounded, and honestly, a bit less glamorous. While most people are struggling with scattered focus, just constantly battling distractions in our hyper-connected world, the elite have completely mastered the art of shielding their attention. The secret ingredient isn't magic. It's an uncompromising, highly structured discipline in exactly how they begin every single day. And that brings us to the core definition of the 5 a.m. Club. This is Robin Sharma's concept where rigorous routine and discipline intersect to actually forge elite productivity. This concept is so often misunderstood as just like an alarm clock setting, but it's way deeper than that. It is an absolute, non-negotiable commitment to a higher standard of living. Waking up at 5 a.m., that's really just the gateway. The true essence is what you do with that psychological victory. It's about carving out a quiet, entirely uninterrupted space where you are in complete control, setting the strict terms of engagement for your next 24 hours. Just picture the average performer for a second. Think about that frantic energy of hitting the snooze button, which, if we're being totally honest with ourselves, is essentially a subconscious agreement to procrastinate on your own life. The result of that? Scattered focus and a completely reactive posture. You end up just putting out fires all day long. Now contrast that with the calm, methodical mechanics of an elite performer. A 5 a.m. start, a strict routine, proactive productivity. This isn't about being rigid just for the sake of it. It's about being profoundly proactive. By owning that very first hour, they dictate the tempo of the day rather than letting the day dictate them. It's literally the difference between always playing defense and finally getting to play offense. Because here is the absolute truth. Discipline drives productivity. Period. It is mathematically impossible to sustain true world-class output without this unglamorous, gritty commitment to discipline. We all love to romanticize these sudden bursts of inspiration or getting into a flow state, but elite performers know that inspiration is incredibly fickle. Discipline is the reliable engine that's actually pulling the train. When you commit to the mechanics of that 5 a.m. start, you are proving to yourself right out of the gate that your long-term goals are fundamentally more important than your temporary, short-term comfort. And this gritty discipline creates a compounding, cascading effect across 3 specific steps. Step 1. Conquer the 5 a.m. alarm. That is the daily, non-negotiable test of your willpower. Step 2. Lock in your daily routine. This is where you actually utilize that hard-won quiet time for growth, planning, and mental conditioning. And step 3, the natural byproduct of the first 2. You unlock elite productivity. That initial victory of waking up early and winning the very first battle of the morning directly fuels your peak output. You aren't just awake early, you are strategically armed for the day. Think of Robin Sharma's core drivers of elite performance as a tactical toolset that you can pick up right now to rebuild your own habits. First, you embrace that 5 a.m. wake up as your ultimate competitive advantage. Second, you commit to strict discipline, because remember, discipline is the mechanical bridge between your goals and actual accomplishment. Third, build an unbreakable routine. This basically becomes your armor against the chaos of daily life. Fourth, protect your focus. In those early hours, there are no notifications, no demands. You have to guard that intensely. And finally, maximize your productivity by channeling all of that early morning momentum directly into your most critical work. If we map this out chronologically, the life cycle of a high-performance day becomes incredibly obvious. At exactly 5 a.m., it's just you and the discipline test. Passing that test right away gives you a massive psychological edge. By 6 a.m., your routine is totally established. Your mind is perfectly primed. And because you front-loaded your day with such high-value, disciplined action, you effortlessly soar right past that 12 p.m. midday slump that completely derails the average performer. The momentum from a powerful morning just carries you straight through, keeping that peak productivity sustained. Routine, discipline, and productivity. This is the core ethos of Robin Sharma's The 5 a.m. Club. These 3 simple words represent the absolute ultimate solution for escaping an average life. It sounds so simple, right? But hey, simplicity is definitely not the same thing as being easy. Mastering these three pillars requires a gritty, relentless commitment to self-mastery. The routine creates the structure, the discipline enforces that structure, and productivity is the undeniable result. When you finally align these three forces, you stop managing your time and you actually start mastering your life. Which brings us to a final, incredibly important question. What will your routine look like tomorrow at 5 a.m.? Are you going to hit snooze and join the reactive masses, just letting your goals slip away for another 10 minutes of mediocre sleep? Or will you embrace the grit, pass the discipline test, and step into the quiet, proactive power of the early morning? The knowledge is yours now. The choice of whether you actually step up and optimize your own morning tomorrow is entirely up to you. Make it count.